Hey guys, welcome back. In today's session, we'll kickstart the Python programming language. To start with, we will take a look at what is Python is all about and why, what you can do with Python and why Python is so popular. I believe few of you are already familiar with Python. Anyhow, okay. So we'll take a look at what exactly Python is all about. Okay, Python is a free and open source software programming language. Okay, it is a high level programming language. It is not only high level programming language, it is also a multi-purpose programming language. So hence people refer Python as a Swiss Army knife of programming languages, as we can do almost anything with Python programming language. You can develop applications, starting from web applications to you can write a program for robots. Okay, so a lot of packages are available in Python to develop game applications, different applications you can develop using Python. That is also the reason why Python became very popular. And Python was developed by a gentleman called Guido von Rossum in late 1980s. He is the one instrumental in developing the Python. He developed Python as a hobby project. In the late 1980s, what has been developed as a hobby project, now it became a mainstream project. If you look at any enterprises, be it a startup or large enterprises, in their production environment, a lot of Python scripts or jobs are running even in their production environment. Okay, so Python is an interpreter based programming language. What do you mean by interpreter based programming language? How many of you are aware the compiled programming language and interpreter based programming language? What is the difference between these two? Let me see how many of you can tell it out. If you want, I can unmute it. What is the difference between interpreted programming? Yeah. Yes. Somebody was talking. What is the difference between these two? Interpreted and compiled programming language. Okay, anyhow, I'll explain. See, if you are familiar with any languages like C or Java, you must first compile that program and then only you can run it. First you need to compile it and then only you should be able to run it. For example, in your program, in Java program, you have written only one command, like you want to display hello world. Okay, you want to print hello world. To print a single, so for this you have written a single line of code. Even to execute this, you need to compile your program and then only you can run it to see the output. Okay, but in Python there is no need to compile it. So internally, the Python source code is converted into an immediate form called bytecode. Okay, so all you need to do is to run your Python code without worrying about linking to libraries and a few other things. You don't have that headache. So by interpreted, we mean the source code is executed line by line. Okay, the source code is executed line by line. Okay, just give me a second. Whereas in the case of compiled programming language, right, your entire code will get executed all at once. That is the difference between interpreted programming language and compiled programming language. So now you might be asking this question. So then, what is the advantage of interpreted programming language? The advantage is pretty straightforward. So compared to compiled programming language, interpreted programming languages or interpreter based programming languages are a bit slower. But the advantage is it is easier to debug your code. Okay, so that is one of the. See, nowadays the hardware costs are cheaper, not like those days, and most of the companies, be it a startup company or enterprise, everybody is using cloud-based technologies, right? So everything is available. Hence, you don't have to worry about the performance and all. the RAM, hardware, right? So the memory, everything, most of them, they are using high-end RAM and so on, right? Hence, you don't have to worry about the performance, but end of the day, it is very programmer friendly. Which one? Python. And Python supports procedural, object-oriented, functional programming languages. So what do you mean by procedural languages? How many of you are aware of the procedural languages? Can someone tell me the name of the procedural languages? There's a COBOL. So in those days they were using COBOL even in the mainframe. If you speak to any mainframe developer, you must be working and you will get to know that he is working on COBOL. And in the very old, if you have kids, right, they might be using the basic, Visual Basic or something else, basic or basic programming language, and C language, and Pascal, and Algol. You have something called Algol and Fortran. These are all called as your procedural languages. So we know object-oriented, the C++, Java. These are all object-oriented programming. And functional programming nowadays, even Python supports functional programming. Even in Java, the latest version of Java, it supports functional programming. And also the Python is portable and extensible. So what do you mean by portable? Write once your script and run it anywhere. That is what portable. Let's say you have written a Python code for your Windows machine. Okay, in Windows machine you have written a Python script. Okay, so now if you want to run the same Python script on a Mac, you don't need to make changes to your script. Simply you need to copy your script to any operating system, and if you try to run it, it will get executed. Okay, so that's why we call Python as a portable language. You can port the script to any operating system. Okay, and also Python can be integrated with other programming technologies like C, C++, Java, ActiveX, and Corba, and so on. And Python, importantly, it is a dynamic typing. The interview, they will ask you, so what is dynamic typed? Python is dynamically typed. So which means you don't have to declare the data type of the variable while writing the code. In Java and other programming, you need to declare the variable with the data type. For example, I'm going to use a variable called salary. I need to tell first, okay, I need to say salary is float data type. Okay, I need to declare it first. So when it comes to Python, you don't have to declare the type of the variable while writing the code. So because it doesn't know about the type of the variable until the code is run. So there is no point in declaration is of no use. So Python is dynamically typed. So if you assign, well, for example, if you want to assign any value, salary is equivalent to 120K. Okay. So what Python does is, based on the value that you assign it or store it in the variable, it will automatically find out the data type. So it automatically, it says, for example, if you say even followed by 1200.0, if you specify, even if you specify .0, right, it will consider a decimal data type. In Python, the decimal data type is called float. So hope you understood what is dynamic typing. So what we can do with Python. Next we will take a look at that one. So what we can do with Python. What we can do with Python. You can develop web application, or you can develop the mobile application. You can develop mobile application. You can develop object detection related deep learning algorithm. You can implement them. And also you can develop again you can implement you can develop web application, you can develop program for your robots, and also you can using Python, right? So you can in Python you can train the computer vision related algorithms. So you know very well, I don't know how many of you are aware of this one. We have something called supervised, unsupervised, semi-supervised machine learning algorithms are available, and we have some other algorithms that are available in machine learning, using which you can develop applications for your self-driving car. right? This is the self-driving car. Okay, so a lot of algorithms are available as part of the deep learning also. So so you can you name it anything, you can do it. So for example, you want to develop a gaming app. You are not interested in developing machine learning algorithm or or desktop application. Rather, you are very much interested in developing a gaming application. It is possible, but you need to use appropriate packages. All these packages are open source. Simply you need to import the packages. For example, you want to start work with machine learning algorithm. You have something called sklearn. You need to import sklearn package. In Java we use a command called import. The same thing, import followed by the package sklearn. Simply import the package and then start write program to train your machine learning model. And we have something else called TensorFlow, right? So different packages are available. It's all free and open source, and the performance also very good. So now the question is why it is popular. Because Python is being a high level programming language. It's programmer friendly. You don't have to declare the variable name. You don't have to write lines and lines of code. If you are completely new onto programming language, for example, you want to learn a programming language, you don't have any IT background, then this is the language where you need to start, because it is very easy to learn Python programming language. And also it offers a lot of ecosystem. It has a large ecosystem. As I said, right, a lot of packages are available, and it is platform independent. You can run the script, develop a script once, and you can run it any operating system. And also a lot of huge communities are communities like a lot of communities I will share the blogs also, right? A couple of blogs wherein you can get help. Stack Overflow is the classic web portal, right? So if you encounter any bug or defect while executing your script or something like that, right? So we go and check it there. So it supports a lot of huge community. Many people are already working in Python, and they share their their experiences in case any performance related issues, in case of any error, how they posted different workarounds on the various blogs. Okay, so and even the computer vision, we can develop computer vision applications such as face detection, color detection, while using OpenCV. We have a package called OpenCV, and Raspberry Pi. You can even build a robot and automate your home using Raspberry Pi. Okay, and you can develop interactive game, because of which Python became so popular. With Python, the possibilities are unlimited. Okay. Next, we will take a look at how to install Python. Okay. Please go to Google. I guess most of you are already familiar with installing it, but I have a mix of people here. You have already installed, fine, but most of them, they install Python using the Anaconda distribution. Okay, I just type download Anaconda for Windows. Just type this. If you want to install along with me, right, you can type this in your Google browser. Download Anaconda for Windows. Okay, here when you type this and click this icon, you will find the Anaconda software download, right? So downloadable link will be listed the top of the list, right? You can find this on the top of the list, the search list. Okay, you just click on the Anaconda distribution, and if you scroll down here, you can find Anaconda. So what is Anaconda? Anaconda is one of the distribution. Okay, it's one of the distribution. If you scroll down here, look here, you can find the Anaconda Python for Windows 64-bit as well as 32-bit. Okay, and Mac OS. If you are using Mac OS, you need to click on this one. Okay, you need to download either this one or this one, or Linux. If you are using a Linux operating system, you can download this one. Okay, for different operating system, different the files are available, installation files. Okay, you need to be very careful. Okay, don't download Mac OS on your Windows and vice versa. Okay, and and now we are using, in my case I'm using Windows, so Python 3.9 is the latest version now, and you just click on it. look here, it is getting downloaded now. It will take for a while. You need to have patience. So it is the size of the file is 594 MB. Good that Jiva you joined. Okay, I was very particular about you only because you got lost, right? Okay, good. So the download is currently it's being downloaded, the Anaconda is, see, you can download IPython. You have something like IPython, you can download, but this is the one used by many of the uh, developers or people across the globe, because it's pretty simple, the Anaconda. The once you download the Anaconda distribution file, right, when you install it, when you install it, it will install both the Python as well as the IDE, like Spider. Okay, it will install Spider and then it install this Jupyter Notebook also. Okay, please download alongside with me. Okay, so that you don't have to struggle later point in time, right? So as part of this session itself, you try it out. But right, so just because in this Anaconda site the version 3.9 is available, don't think even in the production environment in the customer place they'll be using the latest version. So nobody is going to install the up-to-date version or release of the software in the production environment, because in the recent versions, see, for example, in this case we are downloading 3.9, so we are not sure, right, whether it is a stable version or not. But once they get to know if this latest version or release of this software is bug free, then they will upgrade it. Okay, upgrade to the latest version. For example, previously we were using 3.7. 3.7 was a very stable version. Okay, and prior to that, after 3.7 also we got something 3.8 and all. Even 3.8, a lot of bugs were there. It was not supporting many packages. Some packages will get installed, some packages it will not get installed. For example, you wanted to plot a chart. Okay, we have nice packages are available. You have something called Plotly, and you have something else called Seaborn, Matplotlib. These are the packages that are available. But when we upgraded it to the latest version, while installing these packages, it uninstalled or it corrupted some other packages. It had some kind of counterintuitive effect. So that is the reason why we need to be very careful before you install any latest version. Even I'm not sure if 3.9 is a stable version. Anyhow, we will give it a try to learn the basics. You don't have to worry about the software. In case of any issues, we can uninstall it. I will explain you that also. It is very simple process, but it will take some time, but it will not take much time. Okay, so anyhow, it's being downloaded. Okay, once this software gets downloaded, like how you installed other software, right? You right click on it and go to the folder, and then you need to click on the exe file. So it is being downloaded now. You need to click on this exe file, and it will like other software program, it will ask you the installation path and other things. I'll show you once this gets downloaded. Okay, but don't ever install multiple versions of Python. Okay, IPython I installed, on top I'm going to install Anaconda. Don't do it. Okay, but if you have used it in the past, and if you have already installed both, and if both of them are working fine, then don't, no issues. Okay, but don't do trial and error. Don't waste time in this, and you are not going to gain anything. Okay, there are certain things, right? Let us not waste time. Instead, we can focus all our energy in the core area. For example, instead of wasting time here, you can spend that time in developing advanced the programming part. Okay, Okay, now it got downloaded successfully. I just go to the show in folder. Look here, Anaconda 3 Windows 8664.exe is there, right? So it's got downloaded successfully. 593 MB the file size, and I just click on it. I just clicked on it once. Look here. So now we can see the installation window. So welcome to Anaconda 3 2022.0 64-bit setup. The 64-bit is the one widely used, okay, and I guess most of you have 64-bit operating system, right? You just use 64 because the performance will be bit faster. If you are using a very older system, better you can install 32-bit. There is no harm in installing that, but make sure that you have installed the latest operating system, everything, okay. Click next and I agree. Just me, okay. I just go back one more time. So this is your first installation screen, and I'm going to hit the next button. Next I'm going to hit the I agree, and just me. So we have two options. All users requires admin privileges, or just me. Only for me the admin privilege is required. So next, look here, this is the installation folder. This is where the Python will get installed, okay. So many of them, they get confused. You are saying Python, but you are this software name is different. Anaconda is a distribution, okay. Different distributions are available. Some, for example, you have something called IPython is one of the distribution. You can download it and install it, and or you can use, but most of them they use Anaconda distribution. That's the reason why I used to. Look here, it shows you the space, how much space it requires and how much space you have it. Look here, it requires 3.5 GB, but I have 100 plus GB space is available. Then click on next. So in my case already I have a folder. I installed the other version of this one. What I will do is I just put 3.9 here, or meaningfully 3.9, and then next I will click. And here what you need to do is make sure that you are selecting this one. Though it says not recommended, please select this one. Otherwise you need to go to the environment and you need to set the path correctly. So what will happen is, if you don't select this one, and if you go to the Windows command prompt, and if you type Python, it will not work. See, Python is, in my case it is not working, right? So Python is not working because the path problem I did not specify. But once you select this, and if you go here and if you type Python, it will take you to the Python prompt, okay. Better you select this, okay. And then, so here you don't have to do anything. You need to select only this one, okay, and click on install. That's it. It will take some time to install this, okay. You don't have to do anything. It will take its own course of time. And if you want to see the packages or the files that are part of Python which are getting installed, right, so you can see it here. Just click on show details. It will show everything. If you are using multiple version, you need to select that option, add environment, okay. But it is always good, though it says not recommended, you need to select that, okay. Because if you type Python here, right, so what it does is it goes and checks the installation folder. In the installation folder path, it was not aware now, right, because I did not define this in my environment variable. One simple way of doing is, you need to select add path, add path. You need to select that. It will prompt you by saying that not recommended, but still, let it be there. Don't worry about that, okay. So I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to, because already I installed it, still it is using some other path to create. Unnecessarily, it will consume a lot of disk space. Already I am running out of space on my disk. 100 GB only is there. So what I am going to do is, I am going to, in your case you don't have to do anything, simply wait. Once you see this, right, you have to wait. It will take some more time. It's not being stopped. So I'm going to the anaconda. Okay, I just tried to kill that, but still I'm not able to do it. I think it has gone already. Could not be interrupted. Okay, it's going on. Let it be there. It's being installed. So look here, next. I need to click on next, and data spell, anaconda data spell. Next, finish, right? Okay, it got installed anyhow. Let it be there, finish. Though I tried to interrupt the installation, it was not possible. Hence, don't try to install it second time. Okay, once you install it, you leave it as it is. So now what you need to do is just go to your start button, press Ctrl and Escape. Here you type anaconda. I don't know, I'm not sure if that has been overwritten or not. So earlier I was using 3.7. 3.7 was very stable version. So you just click on the anaconda. Look here. So all you need to do is, I'll just show you one more time. You just go to the start menu and type anaconda. When you type anaconda, you will find something, Jupyter Notebook. Click on open. Okay, click on open. Okay, so in the Jupyter Notebook, we write our program, okay, the Python program, and also we can see the anaconda 2.02. Here the spider is not available. Okay, since I typed, okay, so what we will do is we type anaconda. I just typed anaconda only, right? Okay. Look here, spider. You have something called spider. Spider is an IDE, integrated development. Using spider also, you can write your script. You can write your Python script in spider. It is something like SSMS. You remember in SQL Server, right? So when we installed SQL Server, I told you to install SSMS. Why SSMS? SSMS is very programmer friendly. You don't have to be familiar with all the commands, right? You just simply type 1 or 2 words, automatically it gives you help related to that specific commands, syntax, everything, right? So that is called your IDE, right? This is the interface, right? This is the interface using which either you can use Spider IDE or you can use Jupyter Notebook. But when it comes to data science, analytics, most of us, we use Jupyter Notebook only. Anyhow, don't worry, we'll show you how to use Spider, and there are other IDEs are also available that I will explain it later. To start with, I will, I just clicked on Jupyter Notebook. It took some time. Look here, it opened something in a window. You can see something like this. So local host, right? So if you wanted to open the Jupyter Notebook, you need to click on the Jupyter Notebook. I just show you one more time. Please concentrate. Anaconda. Just click on this one. See, once your software get installed, Anaconda software get installed, the Python will get installed behind the scene, and also the Jupyter Notebook and the Spider will also get installed. You need to click on Jupyter because Jupyter Notebook is the popular notebook. Even if you are aware of Spark is also one of the popular big data related programming language. So the Spark is in memory. So even there we use some notebook because notebook is the popular one in many programming using which you can write your script. Okay. So here Jupyter Notebook. How do I open it? Click on it. It will take some time. It will open something like this. Initially it will be blank. Don't panic. You have to wait until you see these messages. And if you keep on wait, and if you still see blank space even after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then click cross and click on the Jupyter Notebook one more time and wait for some time. Try to close all the other applications and then click on the Jupyter Notebook, and it will take some time. Again, it will open a blank screen, something like that, right? Okay, and then in the operating system, and later point in we'll find something like this: localhost colon 88. So which means the Jupyter Notebook is running on your local system in this port. On this port, your thing is running the security related token. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click here. Okay, look here, I'm going to click on this icon. I'll find something like mark. I'm going to mark this one, and again I'm going to click on this edit copy. So basically I want to copy this line and then put it in a browser. My favorite browser is this one, Google Chrome. I just copy paste that one, whatever I copied, right? I just copy. Look here, it is bringing up the Jupyter Notebook here. So what you are seeing is the dashboard of your Jupyter Notebook. This is your notebook. Okay, so it is a browser based one. It is a browser based one. You can write your script using Jupyter Notebook. For example, if you want to write a script in Jupyter Notebook, what I will do is on the right side you can see something like this, right? You can see new. Just click on the drop down list here. Click on Python 3 to open a notebook, blank notebook. It will open a blank open book. In that blank open book, we are going to write our Python program. It will take some time to open the blank Python file, Jupyter Notebook, Python notebook. Okay. Here I need to use print. There is something called print function that is available. Welcome to the world of Python. Okay, and then select it and then click on or hit the run button. Okay, look here, this line got executed. So interpreter based programming language, each and every line, if you want to execute it, you can do it this way, but you don't go literally by each and every line. Okay, sometimes we write some block of code here, and next, right, you can write more than one line of code also, but logically you can break the chunks of your script. Okay, don't write everything in a single cell. These are called cell. This is cell 1, right? This is line number 1. So line number 2, for example, if I want to do something like 2 plus 2, I want to see the output. I want to perform some kind of calculation. I'm going to hit the run button. So you can see the output here. So this is line 2. So line 1, line 2. If somebody is asking go to line 1, you can go here and you can see that. And this is your save button, save and checkpoint. When you click on it, it will get saved. But if you want to save with some meaningful name, and go to file, click on file and save as, give some something like day 1. Okay, my first day program. Okay, so give save as, see, look here, the file name got changed, the notebook name got changed. Look here, day1.ipython notebook. The extension of this file is ipynb. Anyhow, I'm not going to compare this with Power BI. So here, anyhow, okay. So this is how you can write your script. Okay, simple script, everything fine. So the next one is we will go to the PowerPoint and we will take a look at how to define a variable in Python. Okay, how to define a variable in Python. So what is variable? Variables, we use variables to store the data. Later point in time, let's say when you do coding, right? Let's say our line 1, line 2, line 3, you have 10 lines or 100 lines of code is there. You want to store some data in a variable so that same variable you can use it later point in time, or the value which is stored it in a variable, if you want to use it later point in time in your code, you have to use a variable, right? Variables are used to store the data. They take memory space based on the type of value we assign to them. For example, I'm going to assign a value to a variable called age. So on the left side you need to specify your variable name, and then followed by the variable name you need to specify the equal sign, and then you need to specify the value. This equal sign is very much important. This is the assignment operator, which means we are telling the interpreter, hey, store this value 12 into this storage called age. So in the memory it will get stored something. See, age is a variable. Okay, the data will get stored in the memory like this. Okay, so the age is kind of like your reserved memory location. Okay, wherein the value for the age gets stored. Okay, so the age is a variable. It's a variable. It's a memory location where we store our values. When you start a laptop, let's say your first time you are starting your laptop, you have 8 GB RAM, right? So to let's say 2 GB RAM will be consumed for your operating system. Remaining 6 GB RAM is available for you to use it, right? So you want to store the data in memory, because if you store the data in memory, it will be faster. So what we are doing is, to store the data in memory, what we are using some variable. Okay, the variable is something like a container, right? To store value in the memory, we need to reserve some space, right? And this is where we use variable. Each variable has a specific type. For example, if you want to store the date of birth, you can use DOB is equivalent to date of birth. So that data type is different. For each, you can define different, you can store different types of values into different variables based on your need. Okay. So every value in Python has a data type. Okay, creating variables in Python is pretty simple compared to other programming language. You don't have to explicitly specify the type of the variable like in Java and C++, right? You have to specify the data type. Also you need to declare it. Here you don't have to do it. Simply specify a variable name and then equal sign, and after the equal sign, right, you need to specify the value. This equal sign is your assignment operator. It will assign this value 12 into your memory location called age. Okay. One second. So the variables in Python are case sensitive. Okay, and for example, here you mentioned capital A, and if you create another variable with the name of age, that is possible. But if the other variable name age, if you specify small a, that will be considered different variable altogether. For example, if you say age is equivalent to 22, so this 22 will get stored into a variable called age. But this variable is different from this variable. Both of them are not same, because in Python, right, it's a case sensitive. Okay, if you use capital A, you will have to use capital A for, everywhere. Okay, if you want to use this variable, right, you need to follow the case also. Okay, these two variables are not same, because here you have used small lower case. Okay, so this is different, this is different. Supposing you define, after you assign the value 12 to this one, again you are using age is equivalent to 22. What will happen is, this value will be modified with this new value, because first you define this variable with this value, and followed by this, if you specify one more time, what will happen is, it will be replaced by this value. There are scenarios where if you specify small a, right, lowercase everything, all the variable, this variable is different from this variable. So hence we call this Python is case sensitive. You need to remember this. And again, there are some rules. Names cannot start with a number. Okay, the variable name cannot. For example, age, right? If you want to say 9 age is equal to 22. So this is not, it will throw error. There are some rules you need to follow it, naming conventions. And then there are no spaces in the names. For example, age as of today. Here you have space, here you have space, here is space. If you define like this, it will throw an error. It will not work. There should not be any spaces in the variable name variable name should not start with numeric value. Okay, and also if you see here, right, the data gets stored something. For example, if you specify age equal to 12, fine. Let's say I am going to specify a name of a person. So name, I have the variable called name is equivalent to Raja. In this case, what will happen? It's a string data type, text data type. In Python, the text data is called as string. Not only in Python, even in other programming languages, so we call it string. Most of the programming like Java, C, right, string, we call it string. Okay, and here, for example, forget about the age, right? So now we will take a look at name equal to Raja, R A J A. This is how it will get stored. Each letter gets stored in a separate cell. Okay, and okay, each value, each letter gets stored in a separate cell. So what happens here is, behind the scene, the Python, it assigns some index values for each value, right? Using the index value, you can access each and every letter. For example, my variable name is name, right? Name is equal to Raja. I want to extract only R letter. So what you need to do is, name is the variable, right? So in this, the first index, the index in Python, the index value starts with 0, using which you can access the value. It is something like address, name of 0. If you specify like this, it will return only R. If you want to return both these RA, right, so you need to specify 0:1, right, 0 and 1 location, or 2, you need to specify 2 here. Colon, if you specify colon, is a range of values, start from 0th index, including 2 but except 2. Okay, so second one, so 0 to 1, RA. So this is start of the location, start colon end, starting to end. And if you simply specify name and execute it, it will retrieve all the values. Okay, Raja, it will display it. And no, I just want to see, retrieve only the R and A. So you need to specify the index value here. It is something like, if I want to send a mail to your house, I need to have an address, right? With the address only I can, my letter will get delivered, right? So to you, the same principle, you need to have an address. So behind the scene, you don't have to define the address. The Python in the memory, right, it automatically creates the index behind the scene. Using this index, you can access specific value. For example, you want to access only R, if you want to access J only, so 0,2, if you specify it, R, J will be returned. You can retrieve a specific letter also in the case of string, and even in the case of numeric value also you can do it that way. Anyhow, we'll discuss that in a little later in detail. Okay, so now you understood what is a variable, how to define a variable. And now I just show you here also in Power Notebook. For example, age is equivalent to let's say 32. Okay, and if I use print function, okay, age of a person is comma, I need to specify age here. Okay, sorry. So without using print also, I can simply type the age, so that the value that got stored in my age will get displayed. If I hit the run button, so what will happen? The value stored in my age is 32. It will return 32. If I want to perform any arithmetic operation, you can do it. For age plus 2, which means 32 plus 2. Okay, you can do this. So 34. So in this case, the age is nothing but 32. The 32 value got assigned to this variable. So now it is literally 32 plus 2 is 34. Please remember this. Okay. 1 second. All right. So this is how it'll right. So you need to define the variable. Okay. For example, I want to, so now the question is, okay, sorry, this print, right? So what is this print is all about? Instead of simply printing 34, you want to, to print with some meaningful name, right? age of a person is. This is called your prompt. Inside the print, in the double quote, you need to specify age of a person is. Whatever the thing that you want to specify, you can specify. This it's kind of a prompt, okay? Comma age. So age of a person will display as it is. The value that got stored in the age, right? The variable, right? So if you specify the variable name, the value which got assigned to this variable will get displayed along with this text. Age of a person is 32. Got it? And we will create another variable. Name is equivalent to, this time I'm going to use a single quote, print double quote name of, you can specify whatever you want, name of a person, name of an employee is what you are going to specify name, right? Because name is the variable holding the value Raja. We click on it. Name of an employee is Raja. Look here, if you want to print the value Raja along with this one, you need to specify the name here. So you need to specify the variable name here, or you can directly specify here. For example, you can specify Raja also here. If you specify this, also it will display, but in general we don't specify the value. We assign the value to a variable. That variable only we'll be using it here. This is called hard coding. We don't prefer hard coding. Okay, hard coding is not a best practice. Hard coding. Don't do hard coding like this. Store the value into a variable and then use it here. Okay. Okay, next let us start off by discussing the different data types or the basic data types. Okay. Because the data types are the building blocks. The data types are the building blocks of your code when you construct the larger piece of code, right? And we are going to, so anyhow, we are going to quickly discuss all the possible data type. This is just a quick overview, okay? And there is going to be a detailed discussion of each of these data types. Later point we'll have it. Okay, and now if you see here, right? So in the first column, you can see the data type name. Okay, so actual in Python, if you want to create an integer variable, right, the data type is int. In Python, the data type is int. The short form of the integers is int in Python. Okay, so floating point, if you want to define a floating point or the decimal value, so in Python or any other programming languages, the decimal value represented as a float data type. Even in Java, other right, so int, float, and str is strings, list. This is for us to understand. Okay, so in the Python, this is how, if you see the data type of a variable, it displays any one of this. For example, if I go here and age, right, what data type this variable age is all about. For that, there is a function called type, and if you inside this type function, we specify the variable name, and if you hit the run button, you can see int data type. So age variable is int data type. Okay, this is the one, and so this is a shortened keyword, right? This is the shortened keyword. So if you see here int, right? So here I mentioned integer. That is for our, and this is for our understanding, integers. But in Python, it will return age is a int data type. Supposing if I say something like salary is equivalent to 120k or 0.34, and if I want to see the data type of this variable, type salary. Type will give you the data type of the variable. It says it's a tuple, right? It's a tuple here. Okay, here what I'm going to do is float, because I mentioned comma, right? It considers a tuple. So you don't have to specify comma, okay, in the case of decimal value 120394.04. And if I want to see the data type of the variable salary, right, display float. If I wanted to see the value stored in this variable, simply you can type salary and click on run. You can see the value stored in this variable is 120394. Okay, so next one is we can look here. So float data type is something like this. The decimal values, if you want to specify in Python, it will be considered as a float data type. A string data type, this is a text data type. So even look here 2000, even if you specify a numeric value enclosed by quotes, that will be considered string. Look here, so name equal to, in this case we can make out very clearly. So on the right side of the equal sign, we can see the Raja was enclosed by single quote. Either you can use a double quote or you can use a single quote. But if you use double quote, make sure that you start with double quote. Don't mix single quote with double quote, it will throw an error. Simply if you hit the run button, syntax error. Okay, EOL while scanning string literal. So when you get this error, it is pretty clear that you did not specify the proper quote here. You started with single quote and ended with double quote, or vice versa. That is also possible. Same error you will get. Look here. Either you can, look here, in this case I have used single quote. This text was enclosed by single quote. The same text here enclosed by double quote. This is also possible. But don't mix up single with double or double with single quote. It will throw an error. Alright, so this is the one. And I was about to talk about this one, right? So 2000. For example, you have something like door number is equivalent to, if I specify quote 23, okay, door number 23. If I want to see the data type of the door number, 23 is a numeric value, it is an integer, we know very well, but we enclose this integer value by double quote or single quote. You can use single quote also, okay. Now we will see what happens. See, the door number variable is a string data type. Though it is a integer value, since you enclose this integer value by double quote, it considers a string data type. And also 23 bar 74, right, you can specify, or 23 old number, right, so old number 23. So we are mixing the text with the numeric value. So we call in practice as a, this is also string data type only. It's an alphanumeric value, alphabet along with the numeric, alphanumeric value. But don't get confused, right? There is nothing called alphanumeric data type. So we can mix the number with text also, or you can mix the special character also. For example, hash, something like that. Even the special character also considers a string data type. Got it? So fine. So now I just take another thing. For example, quantity is equivalent to 10.0. Can someone tell me what data type is that? Is this quantity now? Because I mentioned 10.0. Want to say it? I can just float. Just because I mentioned 0 in the decimal place, it still considered as a float data type. Actually, it's an integer data type. Since we used .0, Python assigned the float data type to this variable quantity. You need to remember this. And also, for example, I'm going to create a, 3 variables. This is equivalent to 10, 20, 30. So you can assign multiple values to multiple variables in a one go. Look here. This is the beauty of functional programming languages. If you wanted to see the value stored in a, b, c, print a, b, c, and then hit the run button. Look here, the value 10 got assigned to variable a, and value 20 got assigned to variable b, value 30 got assigned to the variable c. correctly, right? So you can, in one shot, you can assign multiple values to a multiple variable. Okay, that doesn't mean, for example, if I say, but you need to make sure that you are specifying. So in this case, what will happen? It will throw an error, not enough values to unpack. You need to specify the corresponding values for each and every variable. If you don't specify, it will throw an error. So if you attend any data science training, or sorry, any interview, and if you have some online test, right, so as part of Python, they will ask something like this, okay, some error. So they'll ask you whether it's a correct statement, wrong, what error you will get, something like that, okay. You need to try all possible combinations as part of your learning process, okay. I told you, you can use single quote, you can use double quote also. And we have something else, comments. How do I specify comments? For example, compute net salary. In this case, right, so in this case, what we are saying is, we just specified some text value here. Comment, this is called comment. How do I specify a comment in Python? One liner comment, single line comment, you can specify it, followed by hash sign. For example, I want to compute net salary. For example, net sal, my variable name is net sal, something like my gross minus something like the deduction, okay. So I'm going to say my gross is some value, okay, 130, something like that. This is your gross, and your deduction, let's say you took a leave, loss of pay is there, so say 20,032, something like that. So here net sal, sorry, I put comma mistakenly here, okay, it's not comma, you just click on, so 110. If you deduct 20322 from this, you will get net salary. So here this comment tells me very clearly, this code of block, okay, this block of code, or this nugget, this right, this piece of code does this calculation. The purpose of this one, okay, the compute, this these 4 lines of code does the it computes the net salary. So this gives you the functional idea behind what logic. See, what happens is, when someone reviews your code, so why you have written this one, right? So if you specify the command, it will help them to understand, okay. And also we specify the logic also. If you subtract deduction from gross salary, sometimes what will happen is, right, they assign something like G. When the business people, when they see your script, they will not be understand what is G, okay, right, what is G here. So instead, if you specify it in detail, what business logic have used it here, that will help them to understand quickly. Compute net salary, that is what we are doing it in this one, in the code snippet, right. In this code snippet, we are computing the net salary. For that, we subtracted the deduction from gross salary. This is the logic we have used it, okay. For that, these are the variables. So J is nothing but, so that is the gross salary. Deduction is nothing but the leave taken, those kind of thing. So how do I specify the comment, one liner comment? You need to specify the hash first, followed by the hash, you need to specify the comment. So when you specify like this, and when you hit the run button, what will happen is, the Python interpreter, when we know very well, right? I told you very clearly, the interpreter will execute the commands line by line. So first it will execute this line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. But when it comes to the first line, since you mentioned hash, it will not execute this line. Simply it is going to skip this line, because it is the interpreter will understand quickly as soon as it encounters hash. Oh, this is a comment, it is not my piece of cake, I don't have to do anything here. Skip this line and go to the second line, assign this value to G, and then go to the next line, assign this value to this one, and net sal. So what we need to do is, this is a formula, right? So the G is holding this value now, and deduction is holding this value. Subtract this deduction from this one, giving the net cell. So how to specify the comment? Now we understood, right? So how to specify the comment, why we need to specify the comment, how it helps. It improves the readability of your code also, right? So, and supposing you are quitting this company and somebody else is joining in this company, so even for the new developer, this comment can help them to understand quickly what logic you implemented in your program. Okay, and the next one is multi-line comment. How do I specify multi-line comment? So in this case, single line comment. If I want to specify multiple line comment, is it possible? Not always we specify single comment, right? So the comment we don't specify a single line. Sometimes we might end up specifying the comment in the more than one line. So what we are going to do is, in that case, you need to use 3 quote, I think so here. See, if we use multi-line comment, right? So for example, if I compute the gross salary, first you need to compute the gross salary. So here what you need to say HRA. So add HRA, sorry, basic HRA and benefits and other thing, and then next line computers. So in this case, 2 lines the comments are there. Each line you need to specify hash, you need to prefix it by hash, right? Instead of, if you are using multiple line comment, each line you'll have to specify hash. That is not required. Instead, what to do is, you need to specify 3 single quote, followed by this you need to end with 3 single quote, and then for example you are doing the same calculation. I just copy paste this. Let's see if this is getting executed correctly. Yes, it is simply skipping this line. When the interpreter encounters the hash, it ignores that line. It will not execute this line. It will understand, oh, this is the comment. Even in the case of 3 quotes, right? When it encodes the 3 quotes, it will understand, there is no need to execute this line and all. Until it finds the next 3 quote, it will not execute it. But if you forget to specify this, what will happen is, entire thing will be considered as text, and if you try to run it, it will throw an error. Okay, so make sure that you start with 3 single quote, end with single quote for the multi-line comment. If you don't end with this 3 single quote, everything will be considered comment. So why we need to specify comment? The comments can help us to understand what logic we have implemented in different snippet of the code. This is one snippet, this is another snippet. In each snippet, what logic we implemented. To get a quick idea, the comments are very much helpful. You can specify single line comment prefixed with the hash. So you can specify multi-line comment prefixed with 3 single quote. Okay, now I go back here. We discussed at a high level what is an integer variable and what is a float variable, what is string data type, and what is a list. A list is kind of an ordered sequence of objects. If you want to store more than one value to a single variable, is it possible? For example, we can assign multiple values to multiple variables in one shot. At a time we can assign this. But is it possible to assign more than one value to a single variable? Let's say a1 is equal to 20, so 10, 30, 40. Is it possible to do that? It is not possible, but in Python it is possible. In Python, right, it put all these things into a parenthesis. This is called your tuple. Okay. Instead of storing it in a tuple, you have another alternative called list. Okay. List is an ordered sequence of objects. Okay. And next we will have something that's called dictionaries, and dictionaries will have unordered key value pairs. You will have to specify the key and value pair in the dictionary. In Hadoop, right, most of the ecosystem components, right, the key value pair is used. Even in MapReduce, we use key value. Even in Spark programming, also key value pair is used, right? So key value pairs are nowadays very popular, and dictionary is one of the type. Okay, it is a the data structure. It's one of the list, dictionary, tuple, set. All these three falls under the data structure. And dictionary, you can specify key value pair. In tuple, you can specify like this. You can assign more than one value to a single variable using tuple. But tuple is a immutable. What do you mean by immutable? What do you mean by immutable? Immutable is nothing but right protected. You cannot modify it. You cannot modify the value. Once you store it, you cannot modify. It's a read only. You can read the values from a tuple, but you cannot modify the value once you store it in a tuple. And next one is set. Set is also unordered collection of unique objects. So even we can store the value in a set using parentheses. Not parentheses, sorry. Here also we use the curly braces. Okay. For dictionary also we use curly brace. Even for set we use curly brace. And next one is Boolean data type. This is a very common one. Even in Power BI, we discussed about Boolean, right? So Boolean is called the bool data type in Python. Okay, so it is called as a Boolean data type. Okay, in Python, bool is the Boolean data type. And then what else? See, in Python, it will consider the Boolean values as 1 and 0. So true or false. Boolean is nothing but true or logical values, right? The logical values are true or false. Boolean is nothing but logical value, right? True or false. Okay. For example, if I go here, how do I define a Boolean data type? For example, if I say true is equivalent to 1. So here I mentioned 2 equal sign. I just compare 1 with true. True and 1 is same, or these two are same? If you go by the literal English word and the numerical value, you will say no, but it is true here. Because true is equivalent to 1. False is equivalent to 0. That's why I said in Python the Boolean values are so Boolean values are also considered as 0 and 1. Okay, so false equal to 0. I'm not going to assign it. I'm going to say sorry. What value it will return? False is 0 by default. See, the true will take 1 by default. The Boolean value true will take 1 by default, and false for wherever you specify false, right, which means 0 only. If you click on this one, yes, true. So this is true. 0 equal to 0, true. 1 equal to 1 is true. Okay, if I say true plus true, what value you will get it? True plus true, what value you will get it? Can someone tell me quickly? True only, right? So sorry, 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. So in Python, the Boolean values are considered as a numerical value. For true, it assigns 1. And for by default, the true takes the value. True is nothing but 1 and false is 0. And I can specify this one also. True is equivalent to, for example, so true divided by let's say false divided by true. If I say something like false divided by true, but you need to specify false and true with the capital letter. Okay, F as capital, and 1 second please, I'm getting true equal to false divided by true. So can someone tell me is that correct? Sorry, here I need to specify double equal sign. Please remember, single equal sign is to assign the value to this variable. Double equal sign is to compare the values. I want to compare the right side with the left side value. So what value? See, what is false? 0. 0 divided by anything, what is that? Anything divided by 0 is infinity. 0 divided by anything is 0, right? So true is equal to this one, false. If I specify false, is that correct? True, right? Because false is 0 and 1. 0 divided by 1, right? 0 divided by anything is 0 only. So 0 is nothing but false, right? False equal to false. So they'll ask you these kind of tricky questions in the online test. First you need to clear the online test, and then only they will call you for the oral interview or telephonic interview, telephonic discussion. There are some companies they'll call, directly they will start with the interview questions, not no online test. In case of online test, you need to be prepared for this. So true and true, right? So true and true is true only, and true and false is something like plus and plus is plus, plus and minus is minus, something like that. Okay, so false and false equal to false equal, right? False equal to false. Most of them they get confused with it. What is this? Will this return true or false? True or false? All of you please type it in the chat window quickly. So what is false equal to false? Mukilan, college students, you should be remembering, you knowing, right? How about Palani, Mukilan, and Mala? Yeah. So what is false equal to false? Sumiti, yeah, very good, right? So false equal to false is true. We are comparing, right? So does false is equivalent to false? Yes, these two are same, right? Hence it is true. Okay, let me see how many of you are telling this. Not false is equivalent to true. What is the output? Jiva, you tell me what is the output now. If I hit the run button, what am I going to get? Yeah, true, right? Yes. Not false means it is true, right? True is equivalent to true? Yes. True. So you need to be familiar with all these things. Okay, I'll give you this one. True or false. Now you tell me what value will be returned. So Java guys, you should be knowing it. Jiva means Java, right? So true or false. What value it will return? It will be true. Mala, you are correct, right? True or false. And false or true? False or true also? Either this or that, right? So we can say like that. True or false is true. So you should be knowing the truth table. Okay, and okay, not false. So okay, fine. So this is what Boolean data type is all about. And next one is what else? Strings already we discussed, and now we will take a deep dive in strings. For example, I have something called okay, so name is equivalent to Rajesh Sundar. This is a string data type. So what we will do is we will check the data type of this variable. As soon as we assign a value, this is string value, the text value, we assigned it to a variable called name. Now I'm going to check what data type this variable is all about. It's a string data type. Okay, Aruna, are you able to follow me? Aruna, if you are not able to follow me, you can stop me. Okay, and okay, the data type is string data type here. Okay, and I want to print only I want to take only Rajesh from this name variable. I don't want to print the entire value. I just want to print only the Rajesh. How can I do that? So for that you need to use the index value. As I told you, the index value start you need to index. If you want you want to cut or you want to slice a specific value from your variable, you need to use a square bracket. The square bracket tells we want to take only the portion of the variable, the portion of the variable's value. So here, what is the portion of the variable's value we are interested? Rajesh. I want to take only Rajesh. So name, I want to slice this variable. So square bracket. So here in the square bracket, you need to specify the starting position of your index. You remember I discussed about index, right? One second, let me just see how I can do it here. See here, what will happen is this one will get, okay, here it is not working. So one second, let me just. See, behind the scene, what will happen is the name will get stored as something like or separately in a cell, and then in another cell A, in another cell, this pipeline is your cell, something like that. Okay, you just think that way, because here it is not working, that one, my stylus pen is not putting that thing. Or A, J, E, S, H, and then one blank space, and then S, and then U. In the memory, it gets stored like this behind the scene. See, what do you mean by behind the scene? When you take any snack, when you eat some snack, what happens behind the scene? It goes to your stomach via your esophagus, and then it produces some juice and it digests it, right? It's all happening behind the scene. So likewise, when you assign a value to a variable, what happens is, in the memory, each and every letter gets stored in a separate cell, but it gets stored continuously. Contiguously, it will store the value. It's something like array. Okay, this is array. But if I want to access this, starting from R to till H, how do I access it? You need to specify the index value. So this one, the first cell. One second, I just. Zero. Using index only you can slice the value which is stored in a variable. 0, 1, and then 2 and 3. I don't know, and those of you do not have programming background, please concentrate here. Because of you I am explaining this step. And this is S is 8th position, and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13. If I want to retrieve R to H only, so you need to specify inside the square bracket 0 to 7. Okay, 0 to 7. Now you might be wondering why 0 to 7. The starting position of the index is 0. Using index only you can access the value. Like I said, I gave you the analogy, right? With address, 0 is like the index or nothing but your address. Only when I know your address, I can deliver a letter, right? If I don't know your address, how can I reach out to you? So the indexes are something like your address for your data. Okay, using index values only you can retrieve the values from your variable. So the 0 is the starting position, because I am interested in taking R to H. So we have colon tells us range, starting from 0 to which one. If I specify 7 here, and if I hit the run button, look here, Rajesh got retrieved. So after Rajesh, one space is there. What I'm going, sorry, here I say 6 here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, including the blank space, right? 6, 0 to 6. Now you might be asking, why can't it be, this is something like 5, right? This is 5 and 6, right? So up to the blank space, I mentioned it. Now I mentioned about 5, 6, right? So you need to specify up to 6. Sorry, I don't know, you just think, this is 5. Instead of 6, you need to, I missed out 5 here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in this case, I mentioned starting from 0 to 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ideally, I should have mentioned 5 here. The rule here is, The syntax is like this: the variable name and start. When you use the colon, end -1. Remember this. Starting position is what? The index value is 0, right? And the end position is 6. Up to this, if I specify 6, what will happen? The end -1. Behind the scene, it subtract, -1 from the end. So this is actually some confusing thing. But in our language, you don't have that confusions, okay? If you want to retrieve, 0, 2, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So first of all, index value is not starting from 0 in R and all, okay? Anyhow, I'm not going to confuse that. You just think about Python, okay? In Python, the index value start from 0. Using index value only, we can access the values. If you want to access the specific value starting from R to H, Rajesh, you need to specify like this. And right, you might be asking that H is located in 5th position. Why you mentioned up to 6? Because the rule is like the n -1. When you use colon, n -1 is there. So 0 colon 6. So this is how you can slice. You can cut the value, cut a portion of the value. You can cut the portion of the value from a variable using square bracket. Square bracket, if you specify followed by the variable name, you want to cut the specific portion of the value in that variable. So 0 colon 0, Rajesh. Now you tell me, all of you, please type it in the chat window. I just want to retrieve only Sundar. So what is the index value should I specify here? So actually this is okay, this is 5, 6, okay, and so now you tell me what is the index value. I want to access only Sundar. I want to print only Sundar. So what is the index value should I specify here? You can simply say name of 7. You'll say yes, right? It starts from yes. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 means you need to add one more here. Simple. You just think that way, okay? Because n -1, that's a crazy thing. Sundar, look here. So 13 -1. Actually 12 only, but you need to put extra. You just think that way. Send Sundar. This is how you can. So how many of you typed it here? 7 colon 13. Sumati and Mukilan and Jiva. Why you are not specifying? Jiva, Aruna, you are not able to understand because you did not specify the answer here. See, using address only, we can post the letter to someone, isn't it? So likewise in Python, using index values only, we can access the values from the variable. Right? So Aruna, are you able to follow me or not? Archana, who is Archana? Okay, Archana from other batch. Archana joined. Very good. Okay, so Aruna, yes, you are able to understand, right? See, if you are able to understand, you type it. Otherwise, you say no, right? Or else, if you even after some time, if you are not able to understand, please watch my video. Okay, one more time. Okay, you will be able to understand. 7 specific value. Okay, I just want to retrieve only the last value from this one. So what happens is from left to right. Look here. From left to right, the index value start from 0. 0, 1, it will sequentially increase the value. 0, 1, the index value will get assigned sequentially. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to access the value from right to left, for example, I want to take only R. How do I do that? Or RA, I want to go in the reverse. So this name is a little bit confusing, right? So for example, in that case, how will you do it? So I just closed it. -1. So -1, right to left is -1, -1, -2, something like that. Ideally, I should not have removed that one. So anyway, 0 colon 13, not 0 colon 13. I want to reverse. Okay, I want to go in the reverse. I want to print the last letter. See, Rajesh Sundar here. I want to print the last letter. How can I do that? -1. So left to right, the index values start from 0, 1, 2, 3. If you want to access from right to left, the index values start from -1, -2, -3. If I say -1 colon -3, what will happen? So nothing, right? Sorry, -1 comma -2. So it is not showing anything. Okay, if I say -2 colon -1, this a is coming, right? So -2 or -3, let me do one thing, -3 -1 dA, right? So dA, it is coming here, right? So here if I say -1 or 0 here, sorry, minus, okay, if I wanted to retrieve only the last value -1, so the index value is -1 from the right to left. I want to retrieve only R from the reverse side. Instead of going from left to right, I want to, right, so in this case, or if I want to retrieve this is -1 -2. If I specify -2, let us see what happens. A, right? So the this location is, the index location is -1 for R, -2 for A, -3 for D. Okay, so that's how I want to print RAD. How can I do that? RAD. Let me see how many of you answer it correctly. So I want to go back from right to left, but I want to retrieve RAD in one go. How do I do that? RAD, how can I do that? -2 colon -3. Jiva, okay, -2 is what? -2 is what? -1 -2 is A, right? Okay, Aruna, -3 comma colon -1, -3 colon -1. Okay, Sumiti, -1 to -3, -1 to -3. Okay, let me see, name -1 to -3. It is not giving anything, right? So if I say -13 comma -11, will it work? Is that correct? Or A? So this one will give you this one, right? This is see, -1 -2 -3 -4 you are printing the, now I'm not saying this one, I need RAD. How can I or DAR is fine. So you can the sequence of this one, but the reverse, I want to go in the reverse. RAD, -1 to -3, no. Okay, next one, -13 to -11, no, it is not that. How about Deepak? Deepak, are you there? Deepak, 7 to 13. Okay, name 7 to 13. Okay, that is a simple thing, right? 7 to 13. Sundar, it will display Sundar. Oh, okay, you answered for the previous one. Okay, I just got. So how do you print RAD? So name, okay, -3, someone mentioned -3 -1. DA, it is DA, R is not coming here. What can we do? What can we do? So NDA is coming, R is not coming. What can we do now? -4 minus, that's what I mentioned, right? -4 colon -1. It is not doing the correct job. I want the last value also, right? So I want to RAD. How can I do that? Just give me a second. I'm getting some calls here. Okay, so you just give it a try. See, let me see how many of you are able to. I know the answer, but I don't want to tell you this one. You just give it a try. Okay, I want RAD to be displayed. Okay, so here NDA is coming. Okay, or DAR, at least DAR, you can retrieve this one. Okay, DAR, here NDA is coming, -4 -1, because -1 -2 -3 -4. Okay, -4 colon -1, right? So here what we will do is name -4 colon. If I say, what will happen is, Sundar, NDAR, or you can specify 3 colon. So if you specify the starting position, see in this case Sundar, right? The starting position is -3. This is -1, -2, -3 colon followed by the colon. If you don't specify, print all the values from starting from -3. Got it? So here this R is -1, A is -2, the index value, D is -3. Starting from -3 colon followed by colon. If I don't specify, print the rest of the values. Got it? This is how you can retrieve it. Okay. So same thing you can use it for this one also. For example, if you say yeah, yes, right. So this is the seventh place to end. 7 colon starting from 7th position to till the end, you print it. Sundar. So this here by default, what happens is in the colon, so inside the square bracket, this is called a square bracket. If you by default is colon only, but you don't have to specify explicitly. This is equivalent to name only. So name display start to end all the string values, but what happens is behind the scene, this is what is happening. So before colon, start from 0. Since you did not specify, by default you start from 0 index till the last. So both of them are same. Look here, it is not throwing any error. If you specify like this, the same thing, right? Which means start from 0 and till the end. If you specify blank name, that is equivalent to this. That is what is happening behind the scene. This is how behind the scene it is accessing the values using the index, starting from this to this. Okay, and you can specify colon, for example, before this also, right? Start from the, I'm not going to specify any value before colon, which means start from the 0th index till 6. Whatever is there, you print it. Rajesh. This is another way of printing. Look here, how we retrieve name 0 colon 6. This is one way of retrieving the data. Or else simply we can specify, this is, you need to specify start, and very well, right? So where it starts, very well, because you want the first letter till the last one. If you know the last, if you specify the last into, that's more than sufficient. Okay, so you should be knowing this one, how to slice the specific portion of a value from your variable. Using square bracket, we can slice it, followed by the variable. You need to specify square bracket if you want to slice the value of your variable, and then inside the square bracket you need to specify start position, the colon end position. You can specify it. Okay, or you can specify if you want to retrieve only the last value, name of last letter, you don't have to specify colon, because you want to retrieve only one value, right? And also we have something else like 0 colon let's say 13, right? Overall 13 colon 2. So what value it will return? Let me see how many of you are able to answer it. How many of you are aware of this one? So what does it say? So 0 is start position, and after colon end position, this 2 is increment by 2. Increment the index value by 2. Increment the index value by 2. If I execute, what will happen is RJS, right? Rajesh Sundar. What happens is start with the 0th. In the 0th index, the values are, and then skip to second position. 0, 1, 2. Second position is J, right? The 2 is skip. Okay, skip by 2. Skip the index value by 2. So J, and then it jumps to S, and then it jumps to U, and then it jumps to D, and it jumps to R. So the last one is increment. I'll just write the syntax here, and also I will share this IPyNB file, and also I'll explain you how to load this IPyNB file into your Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so here the syntax is start end position and then increment. Okay, if I give -2, what will happen here? -2 or -1, what will happen? Let's say if I give -1, decrement by 1, it is not going to say anything here. If I say -2, does it make sense here? In this case, it is not, it is not much helpful. Okay, so just a quick walkthrough on this, Jupyter Notebook. So this is the save button. If you wanted to add an, cell, next cell, click on the cell. Okay, if you want to add multiple cell, click on plus sign. And if you don't want the cell, click on the scissor. It will delete the cell. And if you want to move this cell, line number, you want to change the line number, you want to move this up and you want to move this down, you select this one, click on up arrow, it will get moved there. Okay, and if you want to bring this down, click on it, it will come down. Okay, so move this up, down, and this is the paste cells. We can copy the value and then paste it to some other well, you can do it. And this is to run, and this is to interrupt the kernel. Supposing you are executing this by clicking on run, it takes a lot of time to execute it. What you are losing patience, you can interrupt the kernel. Clicking on it, it will something like it will abruptly end that one. Okay, it will kill the job, something like that. Okay, this is to restart the kernel. Okay, so we don't use these two in general. We use this one only. And if you know this much regarding this, right, it is more than sufficient. And for example, in my case, I just click on save now, and I just download this as .ipynb notebook day1.ipynb. I downloaded this. I will share it to you all. So what you need to do is you need to download this into your laptop, and then what you do is, let's say you downloaded it in your, where is that, day1. If I right click on show in folder, day1, right? So day1, in the downloads, no, it was not downloaded in that one. Let me just store it in a specific download as ipynb. In which folder? Oh, it is not asking the folder name. Okay, it is simply downloading it. So look here, it is there in the downloads only. It is there. I was not. So once you download it, it will be available under downloads. Now the question is, how can I upload it into my Jupyter Notebook? You need to go to your this thing. So you need to type this localhost :888, and then you need to do this one, and then you need to simply drag this one and then drop it just beneath this line. Okay, don't drop it above this, it will not come. Simply drag this and then you put it just beneath this line. You need to put it. Look here, upload. It will ask you for upload. So while uploading it also, you can change the name of the file and then upload it. Once you are done, it will get uploaded. Do Ctrl F, day 11. Look here, it is there here. Click on it. The file which I am going to share it with you will be visible. Okay, so this is how you need to upload it into your Jupyter Notebook, my file. Okay, so you can practice all these things. We'll discuss in detail about the memory location, all the things in the next session, the upcoming weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, we have something called memory interning, all the things. Okay, the one more thing which I forgot to tell you was string. Sorry guys, I'm taking much time. Please bear with me. So one more thing. I'll talk about string interpolation also in the next session. Any questions so far? Sorry to put you all in trouble by taking up this session during weekday because of some unavoidable circumstances, right? So anyhow, we will streamline it. Going forward, we'll have it during weekend itself. Okay. Okay, I'll upload the video. You just look at the video, and also you can download this. What I will do is I will upload this in our GitHub. I'll share that link. Download this file, and you know how to upload this .ipynb into your Jupyter Notebook. Watch my video more than one time if you are not able to understand, and then you can start practice it In case of any questions, we'll discuss it during weekend, or you can also send a message to me. Okay. Since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session now.